March 2, 2024. Saturday, second week of Lent. A reading from the book of the prophet Micah, chapter 7. Shepherd your people with your staff, the flock of your inheritance, that dwells apart in a woodland, in the midst of Carmel. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilead, as in the days of old, as in the days when you came from the land of Egypt. Show us wonderful signs. Who is there like you, the God who removes guilt and pardons sin for the remnant of his inheritance? Who does not persist in anger forever, but delights rather in clemency, and will again have compassion on us. Treading underfoot our guilt, you will cast into the depths of the sea all our sins. You will show faithfulness to Jacob, and grace to Abraham, as you have sworn to our fathers, from days of old. The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm. Respond is, the Lord is kind and merciful. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all my being, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. The Lord is kind and merciful. He pardons all your iniquities. He heals all your ills. He redeems your life from destruction. He crowns you with kindness and compassion. The Lord is kind and merciful. He will not always chide, nor does he keep his wrath forever. Not according to our sins does he deal with us, nor does he requite us according to our crimes. The Lord is kind and merciful. For as the heavens are high above the earth, so surpassing is his kindness toward those who fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he put our transgressions from us. The Lord is kind and merciful. Verse before the Gospel. I will get up and go to my father and shall say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke chapter 15. Tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to listen to Jesus. But the Pharisees and scribes began to complain, saying, This man welcomes sinners and eats with them. So to them Jesus addressed this parable. A man had 2 sons, and the younger son said to his father, Father, give me the share of your estate that should come to me. So the father divided the property between them. After a few days, the younger son collected all his belongings, and set off to a distant country, where he squandered his inheritance on a life of dissipation. When he had freely spent everything, a severe famine struck that country, and he found himself in dire need. So he hired himself out to one of the local citizens, who sent him to his farm to tend the swine. And he longed to eat his fill of the pods on which the swine fed, but nobody gave him any. Coming to his senses he thought, How many of my father's hired workers have more than enough food to eat? But here am I, dying from hunger. I shall get up and go to my father and I shall say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. Treat me as you would treat one of your hired workers. So he got up and went back to his father. While he was still a long way off, his father caught sight of him, and was filled with compassion. He ran to his son, embraced him and kissed him. His son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. But his father ordered his servants, Quickly, bring the finest robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Take the fattened calf and slaughter it. Then let us celebrate with a feast. Because this son of mine was dead, and has come to life again. He was lost, and has been found. Then the celebration began. Now the older son had been out in the field, and, on his way back, as he neared the house, he heard the sound of music and dancing. He called one of the servants and asked what this might mean. The servant said to him, Your brother has returned, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf, because he has him back safe and sound. He became angry, and when he refused to enter the house, His father came out and pleaded with him. He said to his father in reply, "Look, all these years I served you. And not once did I disobey your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat to feast on with my friends. But when your son returns, who swallowed up your property with prostitutes? For him you slaughter the fattened calf." He said to him, "My son, you are here with me always. Everything I have is yours. But now we must celebrate and rejoice. Because your brother was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found." The Gospel of the Lord. Reflection. How do we respond to criticism? We all respond in different ways. Some of us will be tempted to criticize back those who criticize us. Others may be more inclined to internalize the hurt that the criticism has caused, mulling over it and allowing it to fester. In today's Gospel reading, Jesus responds to criticism of his behavior by telling stories. In the shorter version of today's Gospel reading, we have the stories of the lost sheep and the lost coin. It was the kind of people Jesus shared table with that so disturbed the religious leaders of the time. Why was Jesus sharing table with people whom the religiously observant regarded as sinners? There was more to sharing table than sharing food. To share table with someone in that culture was to enter into communion with them. The thinking of the religious leaders was probably along the lines, Jesus claims to be a man of God. Why would he enter into communion with people who had broken communion with God by their way of life? The two stories Jesus told seeks to answer that question. The shepherd puts more energy into seeking and finding the one lost sheep than into watching over the other 99. The woman puts more energy into seeking and finding the one lost coin than into admiring the 9 she still has. The energy of God is directed towards those who think of themselves as separated from God or have been made to feel separated from God by others. Jesus embodies that energy of God for the lost. Jesus reveals a God who wants to enter into communion with us as we are, not as we or others think we should be. The Lord comes to us as we are. He loves us as we are, in all our frailty and weakness. If we receive the Lord's coming, He will empower us to move on from where we are and to keep growing ever more fully into His image and likeness. This is the work of a lifetime for all of us, but it is a work that the Lord continues to invest in, if we allow Him.